Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Danjo number 1700 626 satin chrome roller latch. This is a very common commercial caliber roller latch, something that you're going to see installed on full-size 3 foot by 7 foot type 1 3/4 wood doors or metal doors, but wood doors primarily in a commercial setting. Generally, you can see this in a residential setting as well, but frankly, unless you've got a large, heavy door, this might be overkill. If you've got a hollow core door, this is way overkill for you. Ubiquitous sort of design, meaning that you're going to see this design all over the place. The 1700 from Danjo is going to be the business end, the body with the nylon roller. It's going to have this full lip style strike. It's going to include screws for everything. Screws for the strike, and then screws for the body as well. Okay. I'm thinking that they're planning on you counting on a wood door for the lock body, but possibly having a metal frame as well for the strike. Not sure. So keep in mind, some wood screws for the body, wood and machine screws for the strike. Now, ubiquitous. This is a very common design. I like this design on this roller latch for a specific reason, and the reason I'm looking at it is when you mortise for this item, the edge of the faceplate has an ever so slight bevel on it. That means when you machine it per the template and you insert this into the door, because that bevel, and it's ever so slightly wider at the top than it is at the bottom of the plate, makes for an incredibly fine hair sort of margin. Real nice tight fit, makes it look great when you're done installing the material. And that's why I would prefer this design, a 1700 from Danjo. This is 626 finish. That means two things. It means the base material is solid brass, which the faceplate is, and I can tell from the back side of the material. That's what, the word spangled is incorrect, but cast brass will look like that sort of spangled effect on the back of the strike when you know it's solid brass, but with a brushed or satin chrome finish on it. Available in 605 polished brass, 613 oil rub bronze, 619 satin nickel, 620 antique nickel, 626 satin chrome. Okay. Absent from that is polished chrome, interestingly enough. Yeah, if you want polished nickel or polished chrome, it's apparently not happening. Reach out to us if you need help with that finish. Now, there is a link below this video to a document called Template. And that template is going to give you all of the important dimensional properties of the strike. And in effect, if you are experienced with installing hardware, will act as the installation instructions as well. Let's double check these dimensions. 3 3/8 roughly is the height of the faceplate. The width, 1 1/32 inch. Overall depth of the body, about 1 5/8. A little heavy on that. The strike, about 2 1/4 tall. The overall width, about 1 11/16. Okay. Edge of the center line of the screw holes to the edge of the lip, about 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/16. Now I'm saying about, and that is because, and the thickness of the plate material is almost 3/16, because their template calls out decimal places. Not in, imperial dimensions. And that's really great. And here's what I mean. In all my years of mortising wood doors, machining wood doors, for every possible piece of hardware, the best way that I have always found to approach it is having what is really the wood shop's best friend, and that's a caliper. Because what that allows you to do is to more accurately not only gauge the actual piece of hardware compared to the published data, which is not always the same, but you can use that same tool, the caliper, to set your router and do so in such a way that's way more accurate than any tape measure can really be. So you see all the decimal dimensional properties of the hardware, and you go about mortising it based on that information. To go about mortising this is a simple prospect. You've got two preparations you're going to do, and how you go about doing it is obviously up to you, but you've got, in essence, a body prep, and then you've got a plate prep. The body prep, you could just make it whatever this width is and plunge route all the way down here, and you're going to take your caliper or your tape measure and you're going to determine what that needs to be, because the template, quite frankly, doesn't tell you what that needs to be. Then you're going to do that prep. You're going to change your router to do just the plate. You'll probably have a corner chisel and a hammer, or a chisel and a hammer, square your corners out, and this will be perfect. Or if you do lots of these, you'll take time and make a template, and you can make that template as sophisticated as you want, I suppose. Obviously a template that you're going to set, you might need a changeover on it, but you could also do it the way that Sauce does it with their hinges, where they will have a rectangular piece of wood with the prep in it, and then they will actually have a nail here and here so that you can at least stop the router and not go any further than what's necessary. How you go about doing it is great, whatever the case is, whether you're going to do it by hand with a hammer and chisel, or you're going to machine a CNC router for doing it. You're going to program a CNC router for doing it. I like this piece of hardware because it works out really well. It's easy to mortise. Then, of course, your strike. They say that the thickness of the strike is 0.164, so almost 3/16 of an inch. Now, also, where you're going to use this strike, again, a heavy sort of door, commercial door. You've got two bolt heads here, and as you tighten those, you're going to compress. You're going to control the projection of the roller latch, which is related to how much pressure it takes to open and close the door. How much roller needs to be compressed. So these screws are going to modify the faceplate and the projection, but as this is depressed, it's working against these two springs down here, and that's how that two-spring system works. Okay, and you're just going to tailor that. You'll let it stick out a bit more if your margin is unusually large. You're going to suck it back into the door a little bit more if you've got a tighter margin, and you're just going to make it so that it works. Now, keep in mind, residential applications, in all my years, I've had one person complain that it was too loud. There's no doubt that you can hear this hardware work. There's no doubt you can, but you can also hear a door latch, I suppose. You can also, hear your door closer, mechanically as the arm passes itself. And I found that it was a crass sort of conclusion of the person's final determination of the hardware itself. But nonetheless, it was mentioned to me, so I bring it up. You do hear that click, that clank, that mechanical movement of the pieces and parts. It's part and parcel of mechanical hardware. That's all there is to it. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all the Danjo products that we sell, a link to the manufacturer's website, but also a link to their full line catalog. That full line catalog is very helpful. However, it's a bit unwieldy because of its size, and as a result, we've taken all of the primary subsections and put those subsection catalogs available as well. If you know Danjo, you likely know them as the company that makes latch protectors and the U-shaped door reinforcing wraparound plates. But as you look at those different subsections, you realize, oh, they're a comprehensive provider of all things trim and auxiliary hardware. And if you have more than an occasional need for trim and auxiliary hardware, by all means familiarize yourself with their product line. I'm partial to Danjo, and it's because they have very good quality products at a very good price, very predictable, reliable shipping, and very nice, reasonable customer service and technical support. If you have any questions on the Danjo, number 1700 roller latch and a 626 finish, or any other Danjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.